finding life on another planet, even microbial life, if we found something like that on Mars, that shakes everything down to its core belief, and then we have to sort of build it back up again based on the new idea that Genesis did not happen on Earth. It happened somewhere else out there in the galaxy or in the universe, even. Like, it's established scientific thought that like the comets that rained down on Earth brought the organic materials that built the first little water bubbles that became cells that became,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
it's just this,
superheated for. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and there's the soup, the oceanic soup of whatever bullshit was in there, um, and
That makes sense.
yeah,
That
and it's just this
and
this
those changing the Earth. Maybe we were a little bit closer to the sun or a little bit further away from the sun, and
yeah,
something knocked us into the right position so that we were in the exact right place away from the sun so that life could be
yeah,
continued
right.
once it was initialized. Yeah.
Seems perfectly reasonable, and it seems very deterministic, and it's like that's when it gets into the problem, though. That's the problem with my point of view.
Well, that's when. Okay.
The problem with my point of view is that if all that's true, then things are fairly deterministic. It's just you set up the initial conditions in a certain way, and you get to ask the question: where do those initial conditions come from? What happened right before the Big Bang? What was that all about? And again,
What was the Big Bang?
I don't know.
It was just a Big Bang.
The Big Bang was just if we plot all the trajectories of everything of all the bodies in the universe and run them backwards, they sort of collide in upon themselves. So there must have been this one point where there was just a ton of mass and a ton of energy, and it just went like that and
Just like Larry's brain right now.
But if everything's deterministic, then can't we just build computer programs that just run everything, and we'll eventually have knowledge of
There must be a source code.
every atom in the universe? And I mean, we have DNA, we have
That could be
the laws
probably
of
the source
physics,
code,
we have we have all these different things, and it gets all the way down to those super strings. Have you seen any like string theory documentaries or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Only heard of it.
Okay,
And knew
yeah.
that it was going to take some getting into.
Yeah. There's
Hit me though.
below atoms, below quarks, below Higgs boson, whatever's is these vibrating strings. They somehow exist in 11 dimensions because that's how the math works. Like they had this theory, and they basically had to wrangle all this mathematics in to build this theory. And they're like, the only way the math works is if these things exist not just in our 4 dimensions, because we have the 3 spatial and time, but in 11 dimensions. And once they did that, once they flipped that switch, then the math all worked, and they're like, there's string theory. So like, apparently,
I like it.
yeah, and that's sort of the I guess it's the forefront. A lot of people think it's a joke. A lot of people are really into it, but it's hotly contested.
The dimension stuff is tough for me because, well, it's so kind of existential, the whole thought. I don't know. It makes sense, but at the same time, life is moving so fast that I just don't.
Yeah, I don't like hearing about that. There's 11 dimensions, and while I'm trapped in 3, like we get to move freely in 3 dimensions more or less, and then time we're just trapped. We're prisoners of time as we just move like. So there's like big
We have a clock.
yeah, there's big unanswered questions in my point of view, in my way of thinking, that I am left with, which is just the problem of determinism, the problem of just like, well, if everything's just
Is it preordained?
Yeah. If all the initial conditions are set up and somebody just hit play,
You're in the Matrix.
I'm just going along with whatever
You're in
I'm
the
supposed to be
Matrix
doing
right now.
Yeah, this conversation, every word I'm saying is just a result of some formula that was, that's where you end up with thinking about things scientifically, and then
But
there's
then
also the problem of time.
who's the architect then? Or
I don't know. I guess just, natural processes, just the way things were set up, and there's the problem of the pre-Big Bang problem, the problem of time, like how do we escape the confines of the ticking clock?
Not thinking about it, I would assume.
Yeah, there's absolutely internal ways that you can cope with that and sort of meditate your way out of experiencing it, but there's no stopping it.
You can go to space too.
Yeah, you could travel at like hyper speeds.
Well, that's right. That slows the clock, or no, it speeds it up. No,
It speeds back up when you slow down. So
correct. Yeah. See.
yeah, so you get all those seconds back. You'd have to stay in hyperspace forever, which as of yet doesn't exist unless Elon Musk knows something that we don't know.
That engine needs to be made.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we'll use that shit on Mars for. We'll burn it and be like, whoa, you can go friggin' hyper fast if you do this.
It's like
load that shit in the engine.
Knox times a million.
We're gonna make a train.
Yeah.
Just load it in the coal.
Mm-hmm.